Hello, I'm Chris Solo, and welcome to the Fabled 42, where we build community through friendship, gaming, and chaos. This is Quests and Answers, where we go on a quest to find your answers. Today we're talking about the Wizard class, and this is in reference to Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Today I have a special guest, our resident wizard, April.
Hello.
So we're going to talk about wizards, guys. One of our very fun campaigns has 15 wizards in there, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But we'll start back at the basics of wizards. So, April, when you pick your wizard, um, do you wait for the campaign? Do you wait for to see who the party is, or do you just have a character in mind? You're like, okay, I'm gonna go this school of magic and doing this and this and this.
I've kind of gone both ways. It just depends on what kind of game I'm playing, who I'm playing with. I've started where I was like, no, I'm just like my very first game ever. I was like, I want to be a wizard, and they're like, oh, you're just starting to play. That might not be the best thing for you. That's one of the hardest classes to play, or at least
Totally.
it was. And now we've got freaking artificer, and that's just a lot of fun. I really want to play one. But I was like, no, no, no. I'm going to play a wizard. I don't care what the learning curve is. That's what I'm going to do. And plus, we didn't have a wizard in our campaign anyway, so it worked out.
Yeah.
But also, I've also been on the other side of it where I've seen what everybody else is going to be, and I'm like, ooh, nobody's going to be a wizard. I'm gonna be a wizard
Yeah.
because I love like it's my favorite class.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
I've been on both sides of it, and the schools of magic for when you are deciding if you're going to be a wizard, it is helpful to see what everybody else is playing, so you can pick the school of magic that will kind of like
Compliment it. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, or you can just have fun with it and choose what you think you're going to like to play because it's a game, and
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So, when deciding this and you choose your school of magic and you choose your race and kind of the idea, maybe background, personality of your wizard, and then you start thinking about spells. And I know I'm still super, even though I teach a wizard school, I'm still very fuzzy with playing a wizard. I haven't played a high level wizard before. I'd like to at some point. Um, but because I know that once you learn the spell, you've learned it, but then you can only memorize so many for the day, and then whatever. So when you're
it's a
first
pain in the
starting
butt.
out, yes, when you're first starting out, how do you choose which spells to pick?
Oh goodness. So starting out, you don't have a lot of spells. Obviously, like starting out, you only have a few cantrips, a few first level spells. So three cantrips, six first level spells. So you really do get to because I mean, by the end of it, you get to have a lot of first level, low level spells.
Yeah.
So it is kind of nice getting those six first level spells. But really complementing stuff that goes with what school of magic that you know you're going to go into once you hit once you have to pick your arcane tradition, um, especially if you're starting at level one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is with every class, but if you're starting at level one, um, just pick some spells that you think are going to go with your arcane tradition, and then also some helpful spells like that might help your party, or some
Yeah.
powerful spells. It just been like whatever your playstyle is going to be. Pick those kinds of spells. Um, and then once you do pick your arcane tradition, obviously you're going to want to go with spells. Definitely pick up spells that are with that school of magic,
Yeah.
so that you can get the maximum benefits of what your arcane tradition is, because you get boosts from like so as a graviturgy wizard. Well, and that's a whole other can of worms. Evocation. Let me go back. So like if you're an evocation wizard,
Yeah.
you can sculpt spells, which is badass, which you can't really do with any other class. Or not class, you can't do it with any other school of magic. So you get to choose these really powerful weaponized spells and sculpt it around your friends, and they don't get hurt. So definitely like utilizing that, because if you're like I don't know, like a transmutation wizard, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna cast fireball, you're gonna kill everyone. As an
Yeah.
evocation wizard, no, you're gonna be fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. Sculpt it. So
Yeah, that's a fun mechanic. That's a really really fun mechanic that I know. I think sorcerers have something like that too, where you can be careful. I think, right? Yeah, but
careful spell. Yeah.
it's just more fun to do it as a wizard. I think where you're able to kind of modify and mold, like you said, the spell. Um, so for someone who's new, who's like, hey, I want to play a wizard. I've never played a wizard, or I've never played a caster, uh, but I want to try it. What's advice that you would give them to get it going?
Okay. Um, have this guy on hand at all times, because you're going to be reading it, rereading it, have it like bookmark, write notes in it, on especially, I mean, if you're playing with a rules light group, then it's not going to be such a big deal of
Yeah,
making sure that you're knowing how many prepared spells you have, how many spell, I mean, stuff like that. Um, but knowing, I mean, it's just with like everything else in D&D, like
yeah,
knowing what your modifiers are and everything like that. It's just really good to have it on hand and being like, how many and also like how many first level spell slots do I have, and being able to and tally, like
yeah.
oh, like tally if you're not using D&D Beyond. If you're using D&D Beyond, it has a little check mark, but if you're using pen and paper, which I love, tallies so
Yes.
much, so many notes. And
So many
have
notes.
your player handbook, because especially if you're not using D&D Beyond, because D&D Beyond, you can pull up the spell and be like, okay, this is what the spell does. And knowing what all your spells do, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot.
Do you think it's worth it for a wizard to take Keen Mind as a feat? Because traditionally, Keen Mind isn't that great of a feat, and it's really situational and RP heavy. But being a wizard and you already have so much on your plate, and it's kind of like looping in the DM to help. Like, I would remember this. You know, Chris has no idea what's going on, but my character knows exactly what spell he's looking for. Right? You think it's worth it?
So kind of funny story. So I traditionally, I do not, when I'm playing a wizard, I usually ignore feats
Mm-hmm.
altogether. But my first campaign that I was in as a wizard, I did take Keen Mind because I loved being able to tell my DM. I don't remember that because I didn't. I mean, I take good notes, but
Yeah.
you know that. um, but I don't remember. But I do remember. My character remembers. So yeah, it's helpful for that. And then knowing, I believe also Keen Mind, you know, like what time of day it is,
In the direction.
directional.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that helps, especially if you're playing in if you're doing a dungeon heavy or underground
You get turned
heavy
around and yeah.
campaign. Yes, like knowing, oh wait, did we go this way or this way? That's really helpful. And like knowing what time of day it is and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's helpful if you're doing that kind of campaign. So depends.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. So walk me through, and you can choose one of the wizards that you play currently, with how you created that character and like what your role play and your character building choices were and why you made those.
Oh man, there's so many choices.
Oh yeah.
Well, I guess not with this, but um sure. Okay. So no, I'll go ahead and I really want to do Killian, but I think Kyriel will be better because I had to completely redo Killian after we decided this was going to be a longer campaign. So I had to like change up her a little bit. So with so with Kyriel, obviously she's an Air Genasi. I wanted to do something that wasn't, oh, I'm going to be a half elf or I'm going to be a full elf, or just the regular what everybody thinks that they need
Yeah,
to
it's
be
those
with.
two things, or you're a gnome, and that's maybe you're a human. Like that's it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, there's some that you're just like Ronan with his his Goliath. I'm like, what? I like that. It's so weird. So I just wanted to do something different. And I was like, okay, let's be an Air Genasi. That will look really cool if I'm doing Graviturgy, because I really wanted to play one of the new class or one of the new schools of magic, either Graviturgy or Chronergy, because those had just come out when we started Realm Season 2. But I thought that'd be really cool because Air Genasi are known for having their flowing robes and flowing hair and being able to do stuff kind of like that, casting Levitate.
yeah.
And so I said, oh, those kind of like go hand in hand. So I did that. And then, yeah, so the spells that I use, I haven't been able to do as many with her. I did in the beginning. Uh, but the sculpting thing, that's freaking sculpting. It sucks. But I tried to pick spells that have to do
Mm-hmm.
not only with graviturgy, but also wind.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's gust and stuff like that. Some spells that, as an air genasi, would make sense for her to have. Um,
Yeah.
it's been a long day. I'm sorry.
No, no, you're good. You're
Yeah.
good. Trying
So
to.
I was just trying not, and there with her, there's like spells that I'm like, yeah, this spell is awesome. I'm gonna get this, and I'm like,
Yeah.
but for this character, no. Like I have to like push it aside. Like I really,
Yeah.
really want you, but no, this is not for her. This
Yeah,
is not.
and I appreciate that. Like, I mean, there's a lot of players that just do min maxing stuff and get things that are out of their, like Roland, for example, right? Same thing. Like, he's a bard, but he doesn't have any attack spells because why would he have any attack spells, right? Because even though I should probably have this, this, and this, I don't because it just doesn't feel right. So I appreciate that you do that and you don't, go down that route of doing things that are probably out of your character to learn. I mean, you might learn it anyway, like secondhand, but it's not inherently like I'm gonna learn
That's what.
fireball because whatever. Even though I hate fire, like if I've had characters who like hated fire but still did fire spells, I'm like, well, hang on, like why would you cast a fire spell if you hate fire? I would think that you couldn't do that unless it's like a reactionary thing to where you're projecting your fear, which is kind of a cool mechanic. But
Yeah.
so like talking about the characters and talking about like we're really big on role play here. We're talking about all the different mechanics and ways to weave in those things. Have you ever multi-classed as a wizard, and if so, how?
Oh, okay. I have not, because I like wizards how they are. However, so I do DM. I do DM. So one of my friends, he is actually, I've had a few of my friends uh in my campaign who multi-class wizard, and they do some really cool things with it. One of my friends, I don't think this is going to come out before this next session, but he is multi-classing into cleric
Okay.
and doing some really interesting things with that. My other friend, Justin, who I think you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
talking to later, he did some monk and wizard, which was
Interesting.
ridiculous, and yeah,
Yeah.
which was really crazy. But I personally have not, just because I like the class how it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see how it could be helpful, being able to wear armor and do stuff like that, multi-classing, or getting like I mean,
There's a
there's
lot of
reasons
things
why
to
people
do.
do
Yeah.
it. I just don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not for
Yeah.
this, not for wizard.
It's fun because I've only played a couple wizards, and it's always been like level 5, 6, 7 maybe, right? And I can't even remember which show I did it for, but I made a level 2 or 3 artificer and like 4 or 5 wizard, which was awesome because the artificer stuff gave you some stuff where you can kind of buff yourself or buff the players, like give you some more armor, or make you hit harder or something like that. But also my AC was a 19 because I had artificer and then wizard. I'm like, I'm a beefy wizard. This is kind of fun. Like, so it was fun to see that thing. But wizard is one of those classes too where there's a lot of classes like barbarian and fighter. You don't have to go to 20. Like what you get at 17, 18, 19 is like, yeah, you can leave or make it or leave it. But wizards usually, I can't even remember what it is.
Fish.
You get the signature
Pretty much.
spells and spell mastery.
Yes. Yeah.
You don't
Definitely.
want to let
Yeah.
go of those. Like those,
Nope.
yeah. You're
Yeah.
like, I'm going to 20. Thank you very much. Like so,
Yeah.
it's just really depends on what you want, right? Like if you want to be this, godly wizard, then you got to go to 20. In an Ukador, if you don't make it to level 20, then you're not immortal. So sorry. So don't multi-class if you're a wizard. But no, it's on a more like just calm note of it. It's fun watching the combinations, but again, it's just always what you're wanting to get out of it, right? If you're feeling very loyal to wizards and getting all the extra spell slots and getting all the things and really into the book, and then it molds your character in a fun way where you really get the most out of it. But there are some cases where multiclassing is kind of fun and could be interesting. Like Kai could spend too much time in her Honka truck and start figuring out what's going on and pick up some artificer, skills and learn how to make a giant dragon her pet. I don't know, maybe. No. You're like, wait.
I could become the next artificer.
Yeah,
This would be bad.
I made a mistake earlier telling Jordan how he can create a dragon. So now that is his goal.
Oh no.
Yeah, so because I mean, some of you guys know from Wizards or whatever, you just need a Rosari crystal, but the element that you don't know, there's a ritual, and then you need elements. So like a fire elemental or a water elemental and a Rosari heart.
That one. Kai has one, or Kyriel has the ability. I can cast elementals now with the new spells from Tasha's.
So if you find a Rosari heart, you technically and learn what the ritual is, you could create your own dragon. That's all you need. But yeah, Hemian is like, I'm gonna make a dragon lich. Here we go. I'm like, oh Jesus, what did I do? But so there's so many fun things to talk about with Wizards, and we've talked about some of the directions that you've gone. We've talked about some of the directions I've gone, and like the spells and ability scores and things. What are some other things that Wizards have other than the spells? Like some of the other abilities or the mechanics of Wizards that you like or dislike?
Okay, so absolutely, and we were kind of talking about this last Realms episode. It's we get nothing from short rests. Short rests for Wizards, garbage. Absolutely, like might as well not be taking a short rest at all, because your spells, especially starting out, because a short rest gives you half your wizard level. So what if you're like level 4, you're gonna get 2 spell slots back, and that's either that what that means is you either get 1 level 2 spot or 1 level 2 spell back, or you get 2 level 1 spells.
Oh, that's arcane recovery, right?
Yeah, you get nothing. It's I mean, yeah, sure, you can recover some HP, use your hit dice, but it's just, there's not, like, I hate that.
Yeah.
Everybody else gets something, but I mean, I guess because Wizards are so powerful, there has to be some kind of
They keep you on some sort of leash, right?
Yeah. But
it's interesting too. Like I'd be curious to find out what the reasoning is for why certain classes. I know it's a way for them to balance, but because I mean there are ways. I can't remember. Well, I think it's for sorcerer though. Like if you take some levels in warlock and you get those every short rest.
Oh yeah, you can spend sorcery points and stuff.
Yeah, and get more spell. Like you can keep recycling spell slots and all that. But so we have
and with divination too. With divination, if you're a diviner, which is it's a cool school of magic. If you're a diviner and you cast a divination spell, it's kind of like using a pearl of power and you get another spell slot back. That's a really cool thing. But
yeah. Well, we have just about a minute left. So in about 30 seconds or so, what is your favorite school of magic and why?
Okay, I do love so many of them. Probably evocation, because it is so powerful, and who doesn't want to be a powerful, kill everybody wizard?
Well, perfect.
Yeah. I know a lot of people don't like graviturgy, but I do like graviturgy because if you know how to use it right, you can be damage, controlling the battlefield. There's so many things that you can do with graviturgy that a lot of people, I don't think.
I can't wait to see it. Yeah. Well, April, thank you very much. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me at _creator on Instagram and on our Discord. I'm always chatting in Discord, and Yeah, so several
Okay.
shows. I'm the DM or the overseer for Vault 42 on Saturdays, and I am in Realms on Wednesdays. So
Perfect, perfect. Well, thank you very much for joining this episode of Quests and Answers, where we take your quests and find the answers. I am Chris Solo. You can find me at DM Chris Solo on all the social medias. Remember, if you liked what you watched, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, and we will see you guys next time.